how much does an unmarried dependent student have to make before they actually file an income tax return? Now that's an excellent question, and don't even have to differentiate but whether they're married, unmarried, whether they're a student, and whether or not student. There is one general overall guideline of how much you can make before you have to file a tax return. One difference is there, and I'm including this in part of this question, is if you're a dependent on someone else's tax return, you're not going to have the same maximum level of earnings. Yours is a little bit lower, and the number is $5,700. So if an unmarried child, your child, or someone who is a dependent on someone else's tax return, they can have wages up to $5,700 before they have to file any tax return at all. Now we talked about this briefly earlier as well, but if you've got unearned income, that $5,700 translates into wages or earned income. But if you have about $900 in unearned income, that's dividends, interest, those type of things, then you may still have to file a tax return at that point. One other thing to keep in mind here is, and I see this a lot, particularly kids who have worked, just for the summers. Maybe they worked in a restaurant, maybe they worked at the YMCA camp. They may still have had some withholdings on their paycheck. Okay, so maybe they just made $2,000 for the summer, but the YMCA maybe have withheld $150 worth of federal income tax. So even though they're not required to file the tax return because of their earnings level, don't forget they can get that money back. So you may want to file the return even if you don't have to, just so you can request a refund of the money that the IRS withheld. So don't just look at the top line income. Make sure you look at that W-2 that they got, and if there's any withholdings on that, then make sure you file that return so they can at least get that money back.